How about we talk about the abusive relationship armed citizens have with our government and the police specifically? This is big enough, I have to carve it into 3 parts. Here comes part 3, a hypothetical scenario. Hey everyone, welcome to The Armed Citizen, a channel focused on giving you content that I wish I had known when I first started carrying some 30 years ago. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I learned from both positive and negative comments, so please give me your honest opinion. Let's get into the content. Before I get into the details here, let me say I am not a lawyer. I don't play one on TV, and I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. The points I am discussing are very general legal concepts and can vary widely from state to state and even town to town. If you want the real deal, there's hundreds of lawyers on YouTube and Rumble who talk knowledgeably, at length, and in depth about stuff like this. Please do not accept my interpretation of these concepts as gospel until you have consulted a real and local attorney. You can believe me once the lawyer has parroted what I've told you. So let's talk here in part 3 about a scenario where you have had to defend yourself. Shots are fired and bad guys are down. I have some important videos in the notes below that I highly suggest you watch. They have been made by experienced lawyers and police officers. I am only repeating and restating the advice they give. This is advice from subject matter experts and this informed layman. Our advice and $7.85 will get you a hot flavored and caffeinated beverage at some businesses. Or it can keep you out of the custody of the state for an extended period of time. We actually start before anything happens. If you encounter a police officer in a neutral setting, like at a convenience store, and they're not giving you a ticket, they're not investigating you, they're not arresting you or whatever, in casual conversation, ask them what ammunition they are authorized to use. Then make that ammunition your carry ammo. The DA can't very well call the ammo you used extra deadly hollow points if the police use them as well. Now we are at the moment when the bad guys are down. Your physical training, your firearms practice, and mental preparations have enabled you to carry the day. Congratulations! You are now, as of this moment, officially a bad guy. You have seriously injured or terminated one or more human beings. In the eyes of the state, these are all felonies. You must now fight to convince the police, the district attorney, and maybe a jury of your peers that your actions were proportional, justified, and reasonable.
I am first Ometeklan, and I am dead. As of this moment, we are all dead. We go into battle to reclaim our lives. This we do gladly, for we are Jihada. Remember, victory is life.
Victory is life.
However, the fight may not be over yet. Adhere to your training. Look around 360 degrees, keeping the weapon pointed in a safe direction and or still at the bad guys you know are there. Make sure the threat is over. At this point, you have a choice. This is my opinion. and I offer it as an opinion. If you carry a spare magazine and you think there might be more trouble, execute a tactical reload, making sure you retain the original magazine. Otherwise, don't. Your weapon will be taken as evidence and it will be analyzed, including the brand of ammunition you used and how many rounds are remaining in the weapon. Do not unload it. Negatory on the practical shooting thing and unload and show clear. You reholster your weapon so it's safe and cannot be inadvertently fired during handling. And if possible, remove the holster and the weapon from your person. This is why all of my holsters use an open clip, so I can do this. If you can remove it from your person, store it in your car. And lock your vehicle. If you can't remove it from your person, or you have no place to safely store it, have your hands on your head when the police pull up. Let the police remove the weapon and the holster. The only thing you should use to point at where the weapon is your nose. You go to moving your hands around, and a nervous cop can shoot first and answer questions later. If you have the presence of mind, you just went through a traumatic event, note where there's evidence. The weapons of the bad guys, shell casings, witnesses, so on. These will scatter if you don't try to get some control over them. Try to preserve where they are. Try to get witnesses to help. They will be likewise traumatized and will want to help but don't know what to do. Give them something to do. You know, it's like, hey, you, come here. What's your name? Nancy? Hi, Nancy. I'm Mark. I need you to do something very important. I need you to stand by this weapon. Don't worry, it's not going to hurt you. Don't let anybody but a police officer touch it, okay? Please don't move it, pick it up, anything like that. Thank you. You're doing great. It's at this point you call 911. Remember, as soon as the call starts ringing, it's being recorded. Everything you say will be used as evidence against you. The dispatcher's first question will be what services. You should answer police and EMS, and then your location. Then identify yourself and make a statement of something like, I was forced to defend myself, and then shut up, except to answer questions related to get the services on site. When the police show up, they are trained to establish dominance and control over the situation. Prepare to be put to the ground, hard. Prepare to be handcuffed. Do not resist. Do not try to explain anything at that moment. Let the police secure the area first. When they're satisfied that the scene is safe, then questions will be asked. Now, these next few points that I'm going to cover is an amalgam of Massad Ayoob and Tactical Preparedness. Both the videos are down below. Both of these men are or were law enforcement officers. Massad has decades of experience of being an expert witness for situations like this. First, give these points in your own words, however, the fewer the better. First step, establish the dynamic. Officer, I was attacked by those people over there, and point to the dirtbags who are on the ground, either bleeding or expired. You then explain the events as simply as possible. They attacked me. I was in fear for my life, and I defended myself. Third point, express your willingness to cooperate, part one, by pointing out evidence. Those people saw what happened. The weapons of the attackers are over there and there. I see shell casings here, 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 and here. These things will get scattered by police walking through the area, by witnesses and other onlookers, and EMS. Okay? Express your willingness to cooperate, part 2, by declaring your intentions. Officer, I intend to cooperate fully with the investigation after I have consulted with my attorney. Until then, I invoke my Fifth Amendment rights to remain silent and will answer no further questions. Now, step 5. Get away from the scene. Nicely, legally. Officer, please get me to a hospital to be checked out. So let's break these down point by point. By presenting the first story of events, the police will tend to believe you until the evidence contradicts your story. But you didn't give them much of a story, so there's not a lot to contradict. Second, you fulfilled the tenets of the law that justifies the action you took by saying, I was in fear for my life. This is the basic justification for a citizen to perform deadly violence anywhere in the United States. Third, you provided exonerating evidence, which means that you're trying to prove your side of the story. You're trying to show that you are the good guy. Fourth, you indirectly showed your innocence and justification by offering to complete with the investigation, albeit on your terms. Bad guys don't like cooperating with the investigation because that's going to show their guilt. Thanks to recent court rulings, you can't just remain silent. You must declare your intent to remain silent. And you have to be silent from the start. If you start answering questions, and then in the middle of the interrogation, you invoke your Fifth Amendment right and shut up, other court rulings have stipulated that this can be used to show your guilt. So once you've said, I invoke my Fifth Amendment rights, you have to shut your frackin' pie hole and keep it shut. That means no small talk with the officers, no answering just one question. If you have to respond, repeat the I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent and will answer no further questions until I have spoken with my attorney. Practice that. Command lines. Now we get to the please transport me to the hospital thing. It gets you off the scene and away from investigators, albeit temporarily. I mean, they can find you again. While you may be in custody when they take you in many jurisdictions, if the police transport someone in custody to the hospital, there's a good chance that they're going to have to foot the bill. That means they may let you go on your own. Don't use this as an escape to go home. Get on that ambulance. Keep your mouth shut. Get checked out from your hair follicles to your toenails. You really need to go to the hospital after something like this, because in the span of under 10 seconds, your adrenal gland just pumped out half a lifetime's quota of that super juice. Your heart rate and blood pressure will be in the heart attack or stroke range for maybe hours. You may have injured yourself and not know it until the adrenaline subsides, because that's the job of adrenaline, to give you super strength and mask pain so you can get through that existential threat. And you would rather have that heart attack, stroke, or serious injury at the hospital rather than in the county lockup. Because if you're in the county lockup, the jailers have to decide if you're faking or not, and then decide on calling EMS or not, and then actually get you to the hospital. It's a whole lot better to be checked out first and then transported to county than to be transported to county and find a way to get to the ER. Now, as far as statements go, there should be only one detailed statement by you. If you give a detailed statement to the police on the scene and then give a second statement later when you've worked out your version of the event with your attorney, any deviation can be used to put you in prison. Maybe not for ending the lives of the bad guys, but for lying to investigators. If you give two statements and they are word for word identical, except for one word, that's enough if the DA wants to prosecute you. I mean, in one statement, you say the attackers were driving a brown minivan. And in the second statement, you say the attackers were driving a tan minivan. That's all it takes. Martha Stewart didn't go to prison for insider trading. She went to prison because she gave more than one version of events. And we will always give more than one version of events, not just remembering or forgetting certain things, but just using different words. I mean, play the social game, post office, or telephone, and you'll see what I mean. You also need 2 good nights of sleep before you start working on that statement. You just went through an event where 1,000 things happened in the span of a few seconds. Your conscious mind is reeling from the emotional trauma that you just possibly ended another person's life. And if you let your conscious mind process what happened, it will come out as word salad. And the officer standing next to you will dutifully document everything you say to be used against you. This is why you stick to the "I was attacked and I defended myself while on the scene." While you sleep, your brain will process what happened, assign the appropriate priority of things, and put them in the proper sequence. Once you've processed all of this information, then you can sit down with your attorney and put it to paper and go through 15 revisions before your attorney gives it to the police as your single detailed statement. Hopefully it ends there as the police and prosecutor understand that you were the victim and you defended yourself reasonably, proportionally, and appropriately. I pray that all of us never find ourselves in the position of having to preserve our lives at the expense of another. But I'm as ready as I can be if that happens. I hope you are too. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful day. Thank you for watching the entire video. If what I discussed here was valuable to you, I ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and maybe drop a few coins in my tip jar to keep me in ammo. Thank you.